Okay, we're live.
We live.
We are live. So I usually just, I'm gonna give them a minute because I said 7. It's 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay. I usually just chill for a minute.
Yeah.
Let people get on for a second. If
Okay.
they do, they do. If they don't, they show up later.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah, most definitely.
Yep.
So hey everybody, it's 7 o'clock. We are going to get started here. I want to introduce someone to you that's very special. She's from Flint, so that's a
Flip
big
time.
deal. I'm a Flint girl, right? And so anytime I get a chance to put people from the community that I'm from on the platform, I do. And so tonight we have Latashia Perry. She's a wife, a mother, a daughter, a business owner. She's doing it big. She's been doing it for a minute. And when I first met her, it's been some time. She may not even remember. She was at an event. I walked up to her table and she had these books. And so it's been some years. I think it was like a
Mhm.
Father's Day or a Juneteenth event. I don't know. We were all
Okay.
outside and tables were set up. And that's when I first met her.
Wow.
Since then, though, she has really taken off. Like this is when she just was setting up tables and getting everything going. And now she has become a household name. She has a mobile book mobile, the truck. I saw that.
You
Okay.
see it?
Her books are in big box stores now. And she's also on a banned book list, oddly enough, for a book called Skin Like Mine. She's been working really, really hard to make sure that young people of color are represented. I am a big fan. I own some of her stuff. Don't play. I order these things for my niece Skylar. She's 5. I recently got pajamas from her, socks, and all that great stuff. So we're gonna have a conversation with her about how she got here, why her work is important, and how she felt when she saw that her book was banned, because she's the only author I know personally. This some Toni Morrison level, right? This some Song of Solomon type deal going on here. When you have books that people know are powerful, they know they represent a group of people who have been underrepresented and they're building self-esteem. It's a beautiful thing. So, Latasha, introduce yourself.
Like, well, you made me sound amazing. I'm
You
like,
are.
gosh. So, yes, I am Latashia Perry, and I am a wife. I married my high school sweetheart, so we've been together forever. And we have 6 kids, 4 girls. I mean, 4 boys. Oh Lord, not 4 girls, but 4 boys and 2 girls, because them 2 girls is worth 4 of them boys. But we have 4 boys and 2 girls, and those 6 babies are the inspiration behind every single thing that I do today. They are the reason I got started.
Yeah. So, when you started, did you start with your line of books, or was there something else before that? Because that's when I met you, when you were working on a book.
So I always say, at first I would say, yeah, with the books, but then I'm reminded of how I really started was with the natural hair movement. And so when we found out we were pregnant with our oldest daughter, she is our third. And so we found out we were pregnant with her, and then we found out she was a girl. It's like everything changed. And I hate to say that I didn't think a certain way for my boys, but it just, when I found out I was having a daughter, something clicked in me. And I was like, okay, I wanted her to be all of the things that I wasn't as a kid. All of the things that I struggled with, I want to make sure she doesn't have these same struggles. Because I struggle with self esteem. I struggle with, I had a best friend who was white, and I remember we would be on the playground, and when we would run outside together, we would hold hands. And I hated the contrast of my skin next to her skin. And that tells you how young we were. And so I just was like, okay, what is something that I could do right off of rip to start making changes. And one of the first things I thought of was I want to be able to practice what I'm preaching. So I'm a, be talking a lot about self-love and that kind of thing. And I'm like, I cannot look this baby in the eye with relaxed hair and say, love yourself how you're created. And nothing against anybody with a perm, with a relaxer, because to each his own. But for me personally, I felt convicted that there was no way I could tell her about self-love if I wasn't practicing it myself. And so I chopped all my hair off, and that was the beginning of the journey for me. And so what I did was I received so much positive feedback from women in the community in Flint and just off social media. So I decided to start having events where I talked about my journey, the things that I was doing to maintain my hair, because that was the main question. Women are like, what are you doing for your hair? So we had I had 3 events called Secret Life of Curls. So that was where it all began.
That's funny because my natural hair journey, I tried it a couple times, and then I just kind of gave up on it, right? And
Yeah.
then when I had my daughter, that's the same thing that happened to me. I was like, I can't really look her in the face and tell her how beautiful she is if I can't embrace my natural self. And
Yep.
so I just wonder how many women are on that journey. And again, not knocking my son because I have a son. He's 4 years older than her.
Yeah.
But for some
Yeah.
reason, when I had her, I just gave it up.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
perms, the weave,
Bang. Yep. Yep.
and I'm not knocking nobody, love yourself however you want to represent
Yep.
yourself. But
Yep.
for me, I felt like I'm looking at this little girl and I'm like, man, and I'm telling her how beautiful she is. I was like, I gotta let it go.
Yep.
And I never turned
Hey.
back.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So you went from that journey. That's a hair being a book author. Like those are completely different things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you go from natural hair to let me start writing these books to make sure that these little brown babies are represented and that
Yeah.
they have something that tells them it's okay to love themselves?
Yeah. Yeah. So again, back to Cassidy. She was about 4 maybe, and she started showing interest in wanting to do ballet. So we put her in a ballet class, excuse me, and went to the class. She was so excited. She couldn't wait to go, and they wouldn't let the parents come in the class. So we had to wait outside for them to get finished. So when she came back to us, I mean, my baby had crocodile tears, just broke my heart. And I'm like, what happened? And she said, I'm not going back to that class. I don't want to go back to that class. And I'm like, but what? What happened? And she said, the kids in there was mean to me. And I'm like, well, what was it, somebody in particular? Or were they all mean? And she said, well, this little girl came up to me and she said, why is your hair like that? You look funny. And little did I know, which I kind of figured because of where she went, but she was the only Black girl in the class. It was one other, I think, biracial girl, but that was it. And it was about a class of like 20. And so Cassidy had her hair just like the girl on the cover of, yep, yep, hair like mine. She had two big curly Afro puffs. My baby looked pretty. She had 2 big old puffs and had her little tutu on. But yeah, so initially I was just like, we done with that class, which we did transfer to one of their other sites that was a bit more diverse. But I just didn't want her to just, she experienced that and then let her quit. And then that was the lesson that she learned from it. I'm like, no, we got to do something bigger than that. So I started searching for books. And I'm like, wow, there's no books really about natural hair. And again, I'm embarrassed because I did not think about this stuff with my boys. Boys have issues and go through things with their hair as well, but I just didn't think about it. And I saw a couple of titles that I did not care for. Like it was one called like Nappy to be Happy to be Nappy or something like that. And so I said, I think I'm gonna write my own. And I sat down, and I think it took me about, because I woke up in the middle of the night, and the idea came to me then about like 2:30 in the morning. And I just started writing and writing and writing and writing. And then about 9:30, 10 o'clock, everybody in my house woke up, and I had created Hair Like Mine.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So I get it. I call it when we're in spaces and you look up, the black person, I call it the chip in the cookie dough.
Uh,
That one chocolate chip, we
yep.
find ourselves in these spaces all the time
Yep.
where it's just
Yep.
us.
Yep.
And however we come into the space, right?
Mm-hmm.
And dealing with that journey of not really fitting in,
Mm-hmm.
right? Be it our skin color, be it our hair, our dialects, right? I'm from Flint. I
Mm-hmm.
got a
Mm-hmm.
dialect,
Yep.
and so when I first saw you, I was like, man, because my niece, she's chocolate baby. She's so chocolate. Um, and I hear certain things that she say, like she refers to her hair as nappy,
Uh,
right? And I
yep.
fuss and I'm like, oh no, baby, that's kinky. Like Rose get
Yep.
nappy,
Right.
our
Right.
hair get
Yep.
kinky. And
Yep.
so when she got of age and I'm reading to her and stuff, like this is one of my go-tos. I have other books too, but she has them, right?
Yeah.
And so since you've been on this journey, how many people will you say you may how many books do you think you've sold or impacted, or people have been blessed or fortunate enough to get a copy of these things so that they can show little girls, little boys, or whoever like themselves?
So last time my publisher went through everything, I had sold independently around 500,000 books since 2015.
Wow.
Yeah.
500,000. And that's the whole collection or just
Yep.
one?
That's the whole collection.
How
My number one seller is my band book. That's the
skin
one.
like mine.
Yep. Yep.
How many do you have? How many
I have
books?
six.
Okay.
6 books, and I
Let's
got one
name
coming soon, and I can't wait to show y'all. But it's coming soon. But
let's
yep.
name the six. We got skin like mine,
So
hair
we
like
have
mine.
skin. We got Skin Like Mine. We have, of course, we have the Hair Like Mine. Dreams Like Mine. Baby Like Mine. And Imagination Like Mine.
There we go. There
Yeah.
we go. And so I heard you say you're still working on another book, but in between there, sis, I'm on Facebook. I look up, I see PJs. See, she repping her on PJs, y'all.
Yes, I got on my
Yeah.
PJs.
It's my niece's set. She's already worn. I have three nieces, actually, great nieces, and she's already worn them. But I bumped into Latashia in Detroit, and I had been meaning to order a pair of PJs, and so she was there, and I ordered some stuff. PJs, you just kept it going. Backpacks,
Backpacks, little cute
little
socks.
socks, and what made you press forward? What made you take this beyond books? Because you could have said, okay, the books are good. They represent, I feel like they are empowering young people. What made you decide to take it a little further and do some other things?
My kids, because a lot of times me and my daughters go shopping. They're always like, why can't we ever find toys or shirts or backpacks or puzzles, because we had puzzles at one point, but they're like, we can never find anything with us on it. I'm like, mama got y'all. So I started off making little stuff like on Vista Print and some of those little places like that where you can send the image and create it yourself on the computer. And so I was doing that for a long time. Now I actually have a manufacturer that's helping me create the thing. So now it's a great quality and things that I'm really proud of, that I know that people will find the value in, because once you spend the money, you'll see that it's quality and you'll be able to keep it for a long time. And that's important to me, because I'm like, our stuff, I want our kids to know that they deserve the best. You know what I mean? And I don't want to cut corners on it because it just means so much to me. So,
What kind of journey has this been? Has this been an
woo,
easy one or no?
girl. No, 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 no. No. Many ups and downs, ebbs and flows. For one, I am, leave it to my husband, I'm just a crybaby, but I am very, very passionate about what I do. Very passionate. So what others think of it means a lot to me. So I'm constantly like, I have on Amazon, Skin Like Mine has about 10,000 comments. It's a 5-star book and it has about 10,000 reviews. So I ought to, so if it's 5 stars, then most of the comments are positive, right? But of course, I'm going through and I'm seeing negative comments, and it's just breaking. First, I'm like, quit looking at them comments. Don't even look at those. And I'm like, but why are people saying? He said, who cares? Quit looking at them. Look at all of these good comments. Look at all the positive things people are saying. So I think if I can learn how to operate, of course, what people think, it matters because my customers matter, but I have to be able to operate in a space where I don't allow the negativity to bother me as much as it does. And then too, with the economy right now, I'm used to selling about 10,000 books a month. I sell about 8 to 10,000 books a month. Girl, them numbers are down, down. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And so here I go internalizing it again. Virgil, like, it's not you, it's the
Right.
economy. It's things will pick up because we still are doing okay. But I'm like, this ain't what I'm used to. But it's hard being an entrepreneur. People try to glamorize it and they tell you quit your job and be in business for yourself. And no, it's hard out here. It's hard out here. It's a lot of things that I'm still trying to learn how to do. A lot of things I still get wrong. I'm still trying to connect with the right people to help me to get me to the next level because I think I've kind of reached my peak of what I can do for myself. So now it's time for me to reach out to maybe find somebody who can get me to that next level. So yeah, it's been challenging, but it's also been rewarding because I love that my kids get to see me dream something and then follow through and then continue and be consistent with it.
What would you say your biggest hurdle has been?
Asking for help, asking for help, just knowing that it's okay to there are people who want to help because sometimes I shy away from asking for help and then I'll have an issue or something and then it'll be somebody in my inbox and that'll be like, yeah, I wanted to help you. I see what you're doing and I love it. And I'm like, oh, wow. And so I feel like those are the signs and the nudges that I need sometimes to remind me that it's okay to ask for help. There are people that are good out here that want to help you and want to see you grow.
What would you say your biggest win has been?
Wow. Let me see. I would say the biggest win. I would say my daughter, when Cassidy, when we came out with Skin Like Mine, I mean with Hair Like Mine, she never asked, still to this day, she's 12 now. She has never asked to straighten her hair. I don't know if she will in the future, but she still hasn't. And she just felt empowered. And so when I would come to her class to volunteer to read that kind of thing, she was always like, Mommy, bring my book. I want you to bring my book. And so that was just like if nobody else got the book, it did what it was supposed to do for her.
Yeah, when you talk about empowerment, when you started this journey, you was doing it for your daughter, right?
Yeah.
That was your drive behind it. Were you surprised about how many other mothers or fathers, parents, little girls
Yes.
also felt the same way by reading your books?
Yes, I was not only surprised by the mothers and fathers, I was surprised by the amount of non-African American people who embraced me and came to me and told me thank you. It shocked me, and it actually it changed the way I was thinking, because I didn't realize that my books are for more than just Black and brown babies. My books are for the representation of Black and brown babies, but the message inside of the books are for everybody.
Mm.
Love yourself, self love, and that's the message inside of all of the books. We all need self love, no matter what we look like on the outside.
Okay. So the message is for self love, self esteem, and empowerment, right?
Yep,
Then you look up one day and you find out Skin Like Mine is on a banned book list. Like,
on the band list.
what was that? How did you find out? What happened?
So, excuse me, Parent Magazine reached out to me and they said, send me an email. This Latashia Perry, we were just wondering if you were willing to give us a little blurb about how you feel about being on the book list. And I'm like, I'm on the banned book list? Me? For what book? Oh, you aren't aware. Your Skin Like Mine is on the banned book list. I was like, I wasn't aware of that. And so that was literally how I found out.
So is it just in Texas or?
I'm actually not sure, but I do know that it was banned for CTR, or CRT is what it is.
So that means it's pulled out of schools, it's pulled out of libraries.
So it's not necessarily pulled if the school or the librarian accepts it. So
Okay.
they have to approve it. So um, what was shocking about that is that right in the middle of the book is it talks about skin color not meaning it should be about your heart. So it shocked me. I was like, oh wow, wow. So but thank you, because the sales have gone up. So I'm like, hey,
Oh, that was
thanks.
my next question. Like, how did it impact sales? Because it's
Oh,
got its attention to it now, right?
oh yeah. And
And
I need to I need to get on there. My intentions were to really, continue to push it out there and let folks know that the book has been banned. I've been sick, and I didn't do anything all week, but the amount of support that I received from people on Facebook and Instagram, it was amazing.
yeah, and like I said earlier, that's like a Toni Morrison level. Like I get it, book is banned. It's like you're shocked, right? Like, whoa, what
Yeah,
did I do? Like, what is in this
yeah,
book that you should ban?
yeah,
But then when you look at some of the authors over time that have been banned, it's kind of like giving you some street cred right there. You know, it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
that you're making a difference and that your books they're saying something. There's a reason why books are banned.
yeah,
And so it threw me. It's a children's book, number
yeah.
one,
Right.
you know,
That
and
talks about dessert, comparing desserts to
it's
skin.
to skin.
So,
Yeah. I see everybody on here. I'm not trying to ignore you. We just jumped into the conversation. We're here with Latashia Perry. She is a book author, she's a business owner. I do have books from her collection. Um, Hair Like Mine, Skin Like Mine. I read them to my niece. My daughter's aware of them. She met Latashia some years ago at an event. And so we're here with her. Her books, if you don't have them and you have little people in your lives, check them out. If you don't, check them out. I support Black businesses. I don't care. I have a stack of stuff that I probably never use. So make sure you check them out. If you got any questions, you can drop them in. We're paying attention. We got about 6 minutes left here. If you have any questions for her, we're going to continue to talk because you expanded your business. And so now, what's the name of the business?
Kids Like Mine.
Right.
Yep, it's Kids Like Mine. And so we recently rebranded everything, have a new logo, and we got the bookmobile. So the bookmobile is all done up in the inside. I just love, love, love it. Love taking it out. The kids love it. People love it, period. I've received such great feedback on the bookmobile. So it's been great. and we have a ton of new products. I'll save them for springtime, but we have so many new things coming that I can't wait to share with you guys.
You know, I'm going to update the link for you all with her link and information so you can catch her on social so you know where to support if you want to. Also, Amazon, whatever it looks like, to support her as a business owner, a Black woman. You know, her books, everything's reasonable. Like I said, I've purchased, they don't cost more than any other book. So make sure you check them out, and I'll update everything. Her IG account, anything she got, I'm gonna make sure I put it on there so y'all can follow her and make sure you keep up with what she's doing. She's been on this journey, not by herself. You know, I swear to God, I just bumped it when I bumped into her in Detroit. Of course, her husband was right there. He was right there bagging, supporting, you know, and just speak to that. Like, because sometimes we can start things and be on a journey, but we're alone.
Yeah.
You've managed to be in a union that's highly supportive, and he's right there by your side, stuffing backpacks
Yep.
and, and, and talking to customers like right there. Talk about
Yes.
that support, that Black love, right? Talk
Oh,
about that
yes.
support.
Listen, I would not be here today if it was not for him. That man pushes me because I get in my head sometimes, and he's like, nope, you gonna do it. And he pushes me, and he is always right there. I mean, always. Anytime I have an idea, I'm like, do you like this? Yeah, let's figure out how we can get it out there. When I first wrote Hair Like Mine, and I read it to him, and he said, who wrote that? And I was like, I wrote it. He said, oh, we got to find you a publisher. And so he always, always, always supports everything. He don't let me do nothing alone. I don't get to do none of the events alone. If he got to take the day off from work, he's going to make sure he is there to help me.
That's dope. That's
Yeah.
dope. Because, like I said, I see you out, but it's like y'all peas of a pie. Y'all stick
Yep.
together, you know,
Yep.
like two peas in a pod. It's cute when I
Yes.
see y'all out there working. Again, this is Latashia Perry. I am going to put all her information on the post, update everything with her links and everything. Um, she has some wonderful work out there. If you have children, that, like she said, it's not just the message is the same. The message is the same across the board when we talk about building our young people and making sure they feel empowered and making sure that their self-esteem is there, because they
Yep.
have so much to deal with in this world, you know. And so the message is consistent for any young person, heck, for any person. You know, I as an adult, I probably needed to read something about my hair so I didn't have to go through that struggle, right? And
Absolutely. Yeah.
so definitely check her out and all her work. Like I read this to my niece, you know, I love her to pieces. My daughter's natural. My niece, you know, she's only 5, so she's natural, but my daughter is 15 and she's never asked me to perm her hair at
I'll
all.
see.
She,
Okay. That's
she
that's
actually
good
gets
comforting.
terrified if she's had it flat ironed, she gets terrified she might mess up her curl pattern.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it's because of things like this, like being able to talk to her about loving herself and taking
Yep.
that journey. And Latasha is taking that journey and she took it to another level to share it with everybody. You know, I didn't take mine there, but she did. And because of that, I'm pretty sure it's a ton of kids, little girls, boys, whoever that's out there, and they're just better today because of things like this. So she's investing her time, her energy to share this love and her talent. Again, I'm putting all her links up there so you all can check her out and support her and her business. You know, her family's business, Black owned, Black family, Black love. They're beautiful. When you all are going to see them. If you check her
Oh, thank you.
website and stuff out, you're gonna see pictures of her husband, her babies. Beautiful. How old is the youngest baby?
He's 18 months.
Okay, so he's
It just
18
turned
months.
18
I
months.
watched her pregnant, ready to
Yeah.
pop, all on
Yeah.
social. So you get
Oh,
to see that because she shares that love with everybody. So you'll definitely be able to see that. If you're in the Flint area, you probably check her out around here with her bookmobile. She was all over the place. So just show her some love. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. If you have questions directly for her, I'll definitely make sure she gets them. If you have any questions about her journey, But again, this is Latashia Perry. Before we sign off, Latashia, you have anything you want to say to people?
Let me see. I do. I always want to tell people, and women in particular, that a lot of times we have dreams, and when we start having a family, we have a husband and kids, we put our dreams on the back burner. But just remember that your dreams are important; they matter, and your kids are watching, and so it's important to follow through with those dreams because there's somebody out there who's waiting for you to follow through because they need it.
Yeah. Well, thank you all. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for joining us. This has been a good conversation. I always like to have these nice
Enjoyed it.
conversations and informal conversations, you know. So, everybody, thanks again for joining us tonight. Again, Latashia Perry. I'm going to drop all her information in there so you all can support the work that she's doing because it's beautiful work and it's very impactful. So, everybody, have a wonderful night. Thank you.